The silent inventory of the old warehouse. In a very distant town, where the wind always blew softly, there stood an old warehouse. In this warehouse lived an elderly man named Baba Fazal. His job was very simple. He kept an inventory of the old wooden crates kept in the storehouse. Tonight was very cold and quiet. The only sound in the room was the ticking of an old pendulum clock. Tick-tock, tick-tock. Baba Fazal took a long breath and began his work. The first corner. He went to the first corner of the warehouse. There were small pieces of wood lying there. Baba Fazal picked them up one by one. The first piece was smooth and cool. He placed it to the right. The second piece was a bit rough. He placed it to the left. The third piece was just like the first. He placed it to the right as well. He was working very slowly. His fingers felt the fibers of the wood. He wondered what kind of tree this wood came from. Perhaps it was from a tree that stood silently on a distant mountain for 100 years. The cotton bags. Then he moved toward the section where large bags of cotton were kept. He placed his hand on one bag. It was very soft and heavy. Baba Fazal patted it. It made a very faint sound, like someone whispering from far away. A drop of rain fell on the warehouse roof. Talp! Then, after a while, another drop. Talp! Baba Fazal began to count the drops. 1 drop, 2 drops, 3 drops. His mind slowly began to haze. He felt the weight of his body pressing against the floor. He stood perfectly still. The dust motes. A dim light was filtering into the room. In that light, tiny motes of dust were floating in the air. Those particles were neither falling down nor going up. They were just still, as if they too wanted to sleep. Baba Fazal opened a crate. Inside were old keys. A brass key, a rusty iron key, a small silver key. He arranged these keys one by one on the table. The movement of his hands was so slow, it was as if he were walking in a dream. He closed his eyes and just inhaled the scent of the place, the smell of old wood, dry paper, and cool air. The outside world felt very far away. There was no noise, no worry. There was only that empty warehouse, the silent wooden crates, and Baba Fazal's slow breaths. Inhale, exhale. Baba Fazal now decided to sit in his chair. He wrapped his blanket around him. The blanket was warm and comfortable. He felt his feet becoming heavy, then his hands, and then his shoulders. The sound of the clock had become even fainter now. Tick, tick, tick. The rain song. Baba Fazal was now settled in his old armchair. A slight creak came from the wood of the chair, which dissolved into the silence of the room. Outside the warehouse window, the rain had picked up, but it wasn't a stormy rain. It was a steady, low-sounding rain that created a melodic rhythm on the roof. Patter, patter, patter. His mind was now like a calm lake with no ripples on its surface. The warmth of the bed, the coolness of the room, and the sound of the rain had joined together to create a lullaby that made it impossible to stay awake.